Hello there, Jets fans, and welcome to episode number 57 of the JetStream podcast. I am Travis Rubinik. Today is January 5th. I'm here with Joe Clark and Neil Noonan. Happy New Year's, fellas.
Happy New Year's.
Oh, yeah. Is this the first show?
Yeah,
2015.
2015.
Yep.
Happy New Year's.
You guys do anything exciting for your celebrations?
I told you before, I stayed home, watched a few Game of Thrones episodes with my parents, so that was my great time.
Travis and I went to the Jets game. I got drunk by 6 o'clock, and then I had to get a cup. And left my keys at work and proceeded to panic on New Year's Day because I was like, I don't know how I'm going to get to work tomorrow. Just a little bit hammered at 6 o'clock at the Jets game, and then I realized that it was only 6 o'clock and that I needed to make it to midnight, so I pounded a coffee. And
as I'm sure any of you who follow us on Canada, we are watching the World Junior game.
Oh, buddy, Max Domi.
Max Domi just scored to make it 4-1 Canada. We'll talk about all that in a second.
Fuck yeah, buddy.
Harper's there. Woo!
Yeah, Harper's there.
Yeah.
As I'm sure any of you who follow us on Twitter at JetStreamPod know, Joe was extremely drunk and took a really creepy picture with me.
Hilarious picture.
Great one.
At the Jets game.
Just creeping hard.
It's hard for me to laugh out loud scrolling through my phone, but when I saw that, I was bursting out loud.
Oh, man. Yeah, I was pretty deep at that point, so.
That was pretty creepy. We got there and we went and met our homeboy Steven.
Yes.
Shout out to Steven. He's a fine young man.
Yep.
Got some beers from him, and Joe had already taken, I think, what'd you say, like 4 shots of vodka before you got in there?
Yeah.
And 2 more beers and a few more beers, and Joe was pretty hammered.
Yeah, it was pretty done.
I had a few drinks, but I didn't get hammered because I was driving out to Gimli right after the game. And then I got drunk out in the middle of nowhere in the country, and country folk can really drink alcohol.
Yeah.
I think I see it all, and then they just step it up every time. And I'm like, you guys seriously have nothing else to do.
No, exactly. That's why they're so good.
It's quite impressive because I'm like twice the size of half you guys, and I cannot keep up because this is just ridiculous. I mean, it's all whiskey.
Oh,
I'm just like, dudes,
that sounds terrible.
how do you do that?
Whiskey makes me forget.
Oh,
It's
it's impressive how much these people drink. So, yeah. Happy New Year to everybody. Hopefully we'll have this last year was crazy for us. We kind of exploded a bit considering what we used to be at.
Yeah, no kidding.
I think we've gotten a lot better at what we do, and we hear more and more feedback from people almost every day, and I absolutely love it. So hopefully we have more big things coming in the next calendar year. We do have the World Junior game on for those of you watching on YouTube, or if we just blankly kind of start talking about nothingness, it's because we're probably watching a bit of the game.
Yeah.
We couldn't really record yesterday because of timing issues, so we recorded Monday evening, so I'm sure this will be a very interesting episode, as our weeknight episodes always are.
Every time.
They always are.
Every time. That's what I said to my dad, actually, before I left. He's like, oh, you guys are recording tonight? That's kind of weird. I'm like, yeah, every time we do a weeknight recording, it's just a gong
Something
show.
stupid.
Yeah.
It just goes to all
it's just a write-off, so,
I'm sure something interesting will
we'll see how it goes.
But yeah, Canada's up 4-1. It's about halfway through the second period. So I don't know what it is with the World Juniors this year, but it just hasn't really felt the same to me. Like, I mean, for the past few years, obviously I like the winning. The winning's nice. I like that they're not losing. It looks like they're going to win the gold medal, though I shouldn't speak too soon. We go 4-0 shots in the period. That's it. Because last time they were up 3 goals on Russia going into the third period, they lost 5-something or 6-something because they got their asses handed to them in the third. But, I mean, Zach Fucali's in net, so who knows what's going to happen. But I do like the winning, and obviously in the last 5 years that has not always been the case. But it just seems to me, it just feels different this year. I don't know if it's that they've all been blowouts, and I don't really like watching blowout after blowout. Like, when it gets to that point, I just start feeling bad for them because these are teenagers playing.
Yeah,
and, like,
it's
this
true.
is a huge crowd against you, and
some of these guys are 17 years old. Like, that's nuts.
Yeah, I don't know if it's that or that. There just haven't been that many good games. I mean, the one good game was apparently the American game, but we were at the Islanders game, so we didn't really watch that.
Yeah.
I had a hockey game myself last night, so I didn't watch the game last night. This game it's been okay. It's been pretty physical, but other than that, like, Canada was up 2-0 within the first 3 minutes of the game. Russia scored 1. Now they're up 4-1. Like, it seems like every year. And almost 5-1. But of course, Gauthier, the terrible Leafs draft pick that shouldn't be on this team, screws it up. Don't worry, I'll get to the Leafs asking.
Is he the guy who looks pretty chubby. Is that
Yeah.
him? Oh.
No, there's another one. Richie.
Yeah.
Richie's the one who
yes,
looks
Nick
like
Ritchie.
he should
Or
just
is it
stop
Nick,
eating food.
Is it Nick Ritchie?
I
Yeah.
think.
Man, he's just like chubbiest face I've ever seen in my life.
He's got a worse than a Phil Kessel.
Yeah,
face.
no, it is worse. That's exactly what it is. Patan. Oh, dang.
Patan. It's been amazing.
Yes, let's talk.
We'll get to him in a
Okay.
second. I want to get this point across.
All right,
as
go
many
ahead.
times as I've tried.
Do it.
I mean, like, to me, the best games so far have been Denmark's win
Yes. Oh, great game.
and the European matchups.
Yeah.
And it just...
It seems like Canada. You're right. Canada hasn't been involved in multiple good games.
Yeah, exactly. And even if some years that hasn't been the case, it just feels a little more special because you're getting up at 4 o'clock in the morning to go watch hockey with your boys.
Well,
you're
that's-
drinking beers in the morning.
That
or
was
something like that.
that was something a little bit different, right?
And I mean, every other year, it's been like when I think back to the years that it's been on Canadian soil, even if they've lost, there's been 1 or 2 just epic games. And that's what kind of has always sold me on the World Juniors is that you never know what's going to happen. There's always a chance coming back. Some crazy crap goes on, and it just hasn't been there for me this year. And like we were saying, Nick Patan and all these guys, like the Jets have been really well represented.
Yeah.
So it should have been really easy to get into this game.
That's that's been the best part of the tournament for me is watching all those Jets picks.
That and like 6 players on I think 3 different teams. Kostelek, Ehlers, DeLeo, Carmery, Patan, and Morrissey. Like it should have been, I feel like, really easy to get into this and wanting to watch those guys play, but I don't know, like I don't know. It's just been a weird feeling to me.
I was into it. Actually, I found myself a lot more into watching Ehlers, like watching Denmark play.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
Seeing just how much Ehlers drove that team, and like how seeing him as the centerpiece of a team is really cool to watch because I don't get to watch any Halifax games where I'm sure he is the centerpiece, and he is.
Yeah.
But you don't get really a chance to watch that stuff. So it's cool to see him sort of in his element because we don't really get to see it very often. So I really enjoyed that.
I mean, yeah, like, and watching, obviously, I wasn't watching the game last night, but, like, watching the replays and stuff, Patan leading the tournament scoring, like, that's, obviously, all the news that's come out of it's been pretty good for Jets fans. From what I've seen, Morrissey's been Canada's best defenseman, so, and he's been physical and everything. Like, in this game alone, he's made a big hit already. It just doesn't feel the same. I feel like it'll be almost revived again when it goes to Finland next year because it's going to be the early in the morning. As much as people like to bitch and moan about it, I love that. Getting up early.
It made it like an actual.
It was an event.
Yeah, it was an event because you had to really set it aside.
Especially around Christmas time, that might be a part of it too. Is that I've had so much stuff going on with so much like family stuff and going to see like everything going on that it's been almost like a afterthought in some situations where it's like, hey, well, I'm going here. Oh, the game's on. I don't want to miss that, so I'll have to catch at least the second half of that. And it hasn't been like I'm getting up early in the morning. I'm going to go to bed a little bit earlier, or I'm going to not go to sleep all night and stay up and watch this game.
It's almost too convenient to have all the games on at 7 p.m.
Oh, exactly. Like I remember, what was it? There's one year we all stayed up for a whole night, and I think we ended up watching the games like that morning.
I can't even remember.
Or we went to our buddy's place and got up at whatever time in the morning before work and watched the game, and then we go for breakfast and we still have an hour before work. You'd be like, well, I can't take a nap now because I won't be in work on time. But I don't know. It just, I love the World Juniors more than most people. Like, I absolutely love this tournament. It just, something seems to be lacking this year. And it's not a knock against Canada winning. It just seems different. And I don't know. I blame Montreal because screw Montreal.
It always had to come back to that, didn't it?
It's Montreal's fault. Outside of the World Juniors, we got some stuff to talk about today. We're going to talk about David Perron getting traded to Pittsburgh and what that might mean for the Jets. We're going to talk about an article that our buddy Garret wrote about referencing something that Joe brought up a couple weeks ago, actually. We're going to talk about how crappy the Leafs were the other night. So I'm sure everybody will greatly enjoy that.
And on the other side of that, how great the Jets were.
To be specific, how great Dustin Buffalo was.
Fair enough.
And has been. But the first thing we got to talk about, because it just keeps on getting worse and worse, as Myrtle, I believe, mentioned it today on Twitter. It's another Monday. The Jets are down another defenseman. Another defensive injury today.
That's just the way it's been going, eh?
Grant Clitsum is now out with 5-1 Canada.
Oh boy.
Who is this?
Reinhardt.
Oh, Reinhardt got one. Grant Clitsum is out with an upper body injury, and he's somewhere between day to day and week to week. They don't really have that diagnosed yet. Got to hear back from the doctors. So Keaton Ellerby was called up, who himself is coming off a blood clot in his hand and hasn't skated in 6 weeks. So Julien Brulette has drawn into the Jets lineup tonight, who the Jets are, by the way, playing as well. They're down 2-1 to San Jose last I saw.
Yeah.
That was about halfway through the second period. So Julien Brulette drew into the lineup tonight alongside Adam Party. Second pairing is going to be Postma and Harrison. Your top pairing is going to be Buff and Sherratt.
Mm-hmm.
It's madness.
It is. No, it is. It was madness before that happened.
Yeah.
And the fact that it was working was...
The Jets have, honest to God, they've lost their top 5 defensemen in the span of about a month.
Wow.
It's
I didn't know
crazy.
it was 5. Can you list them for me?
Bogosian, Enstrom, Stewart, Trouba, Klitzum.
Yeah.
That's a...
In like a month.
In a month, yeah.
And you could throw Kane in there too.
Does that ever happen to any team?
No. It's voodoo.
And they're playing well.
That's the crazy thing about it, is they're still playing well. And I'll get to explaining why I think that is and why a few people believe that is in a minute. But they have survived it for the most part. The good news in all of this is that Bogosian did skate today.
Oh, wow, nice.
He is joining the Jets on their road trip this weekend. So it seems like there's a bit of help coming. So hopefully. Apparently Stewart and Enstrom, I heard, had skated before practice today. So they are clearly inching their way back slowly but surely, I guess. And they're going to need the help. Mm-hmm. When you look at who the Jets have coming up soon, they have Arizona on Thursday night. That's a game, when you look even further in the schedule, they need to win. Whether or not they win or lose tonight, I would hope they could get a win out of tonight. San Jose is obviously a good team. They're the 2 wildcard teams right now. But you need to beat Arizona on Thursday night, because then they have LA and Anaheim on back-to-back this weekend. So Pavlik's playing one of those games. Hutch is probably, you'd assume Pavlik and Hutch will split those.
Yep.
Bogosian will probably come back at some point. But again, those are 2 pretty good teams that you don't want to be messing around with. The Anaheim game, by the way, is the Timu Solani ceremony night in Anaheim. So they're having, I think the MTS Center is actually hosting a event at the end.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they'll put like the game and have the whole ceremony on the Jumbotron and yay Timu stuff. And then next week they come back to play a solid Florida team at home, and then play Dallas and Chicago Thursday, Friday on a back-to-back. And when you look at that,
That's tough.
if you told anybody that the Jets would be down their top 5 defensemen, and you're playing LA, Anaheim, Dallas, and Chicago all within a week of each other, or just over less than a week of each other, with another game thrown in there.
2 of the strongest teams in the Western Conference, plus some divisional rivals.
You have 5 games in 7 nights, and 4 of those teams are playoff teams right now.
Yeah. And Dallas is...
Dallas is in a playoff team right now, but Dallas actually has gone 8-1-1 their last 10.
Don't ruin it.
They are sitting 6th.
Don't ruin it. You're ruining it.
I don't care. Oh, I know what this is. Dick. Dallas has been good. And it's a scary situation right now because they're pressing hard, and they're a team that a lot of people expected to be in that playoff race. I'm not going to say they've solved their problems, because they're still, who gives a shit about defense? Let's just score a bunch of goals.
Yeah, absolutely.
But they're scoring a bunch of goals.
Yeah.
So they are a threat to the Jets, especially a Jets team that is down again their top 5 defensemen. So it's not a pleasant situation to look at.
No.
I'm as hopeful as anybody right now. They can somehow pull this off. The Jets have proved me wrong for the most part this year. So if they can keep doing that, fantastic. I think I said it a couple podcasts ago. If they can survive, I guess, the next 3 weeks, I'm all in on them, because it can only really get better.
Yeah, you would think anyways.
So, I mean, Paul Maurice has seemed to have made some good decisions. It looks like Hutchinson's now the starter.
Yeah.
Call it what you will. If you don't want to anoint him the starter, fine, but he's getting all the good starts.
Yeah.
There you go with that. He's realized that Chris Thorburn is a fucking idiot and has moved him back down to the 4th line, and Gagliardi is now getting 3rd line minutes.
There we go.
So that looks a bit better on paper.
Yeah.
Rush also just scored to make it 5-2. And I think the biggest X factor in all of this has been Dustin Byfuglien moving back and playing defense. Let's be honest, if Dustin Byfuglien doesn't play 30 minutes tonight, I'll be shocked.
Yeah, no kidding. He probably will.
Well,
It'll
they don't
be
play again
close.
until Thursday,
It'll be close. He'll probably have like 28, 29 minutes, I bet.
I don't see any reason why he wouldn't just carry the load. You might as well have Dustin Byfuglien and Sherratt, and then Dustin Byfuglien and Party, and Dustin Byfuglien and Postma, and Dustin Byfuglien with Brulette.
Just leave him out there.
Just leave him out there pretty much for the whole game, and when he can't skate, give him like a 30-second rest, and then just put him back on the ice, because he's the guy right now.
Yeah.
Since he's moved back to defense, and Garret posted an article about him, I think on New Year's Eve, about how amazing Dustin Byfuglien has been. He's playing some of the toughest minutes in the league since he's become a defenseman again. And he's absolutely destroying it in the process. Yeah. He's still got great possession numbers, all while he has been scoring more than he ever scored as a forward.
Yeah.
Because as a defenseman, he still scores a bunch of points. Mm-hmm. It's insane watching this guy play. His effect as a player by himself is huge, but I think the biggest... can't think of the word I want to say, I guess repercussive effect of him being on defense and playing those minutes is that it's allowed Paul Maurice to deploy his other defensemen in easy situations. Go and play in the offensive zone. Go do this. Oh, crappy lines out there, you go play against them. Crap versus crap, and our crap's just doing better right now. So it's definitely 5-3.
Oh, here we go. Oh boy.
Callie, get it together, bud.
Oh,
Yep.
That was really quick.
Yep. Yeah, that's how she goes.
Russian fans going crazy. Oh, I love those Russian language signs.
I don't know what it says, but it looks cool.
It does look cool.
Yeah, it does.
Oh, nervous mom right there. Crutch time, boys. But yeah, like he helps almost ease the losses of all these other guys because he's just doing everything right now. Mm-hmm. And I think there was no time that was more evident than Saturday night against the Toronto Maple Leafs, when he was basically just like, I hate you all, and I'm just going to throw you around and make you all look like a bunch of little girls.
This is national broadcast. I'm just going to make a statement here.
Yeah, a little bit.
And he did.
Oh, did he ever?
Yes.
That one goal where he was just like, I'm going to skate around the circle, throw you off my back, I'm going to do this, and then goal. Yep. Like, he was absolutely fantastic in that game, and I know people want me to sit here and bitch and whine about the Leafs. And I'm going to do that a little bit.
Obviously.
I'm going to explain why they are so... I'm not even going to explain why.
One single tear rolls down Travis's cheek.
I have no tears left for that team. Like, somebody... at my hockey game yesterday, everyone in the locker room was trying to beak me about it. I'm just like...
Don't care.
Guys, I've been a Leaf fan for this long. One bad loss is just another walk in the park. Yeah. Like, it doesn't make a difference at this point. The game itself... I think the Leafs had, 16, 17 shots?
I think it was 17.
Entire game?
17 total.
This is... the last 2 times or 3 times that the Jets have played the Leafs, Jets fans come out of it thinking, oh my God, our team is so good. And that's fine. Yeah, they played great.
Yeah, they did.
They played great.
Yep.
But I don't think they understand that that's what every Leaf game looks like.
That's what everybody who plays the Leafs comes out thinking to be like, man, we're good.
Like... There's a lot of crap, or there wasn't a lot of crap. There's a couple people saying all this crap about Leaf fans and blah, 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 blah. I don't think you understand Leaf fans who know what they're talking about versus the generic perception of Leaf fans. Because most Leaf fans who have followed this team for a long time and actually follow hockey know that their team is not very good. It is not a good hockey team, no matter... Even the team themselves admit they're not very good. They have been extremely lucky, like they have in the last 3 years, to have extremely good goaltending. That's the one thing that irks me, is when people are like, what are you talking about? The Leafs goaltending is correct. No. James Reimer, the bad goalie, has better numbers than Jonathan Quick. He's got top 10, 15 in the league, I believe, numbers right now. Yeah. It's because they get peppered with 40 to 60 shots a game that they still let in 3 goals and have a fantastic save percentage.
Yeah, exactly. They get outshot consistently for 3 or 4 years straight.
Jets fans who used to bitch and moan about, Pavelec gets hung out to dry. No. You do not watch the Leafs. You do not understand what hung out to dry means.
Yeah, exactly.
The team... I love Phil Kessel.
Obviously.
You love JVR. I know you love JVR.
Huge man crush on JVR.
That line is fucking brutal. I don't remember the last time they had a Corsi 4 percentage at the end of the game above 20. I don't remember it. Their numbers are worse than the Buffalo Sabres this year numbers. It's disgusting.
That is.
It is brutal. Horrid. It is a terrible team. They have skill.
Tons.
They have a good third and fourth line.
You know what? They probably have one of the best like third, fourth line combos in the league. Honestly,
as soon as they got rid of Colton Orr and Fred McLaren, they put in guys who are good at possession.
When it comes to bottom six, like they are killing it. But
the problem is their top line can't get out of their own end.
Yeah.
The second line is a gong show. David Clarkson, I think Steve Dangle put it best when he said, David Clarkson is where scoring chances go to die. He has the hands of Chris Thorburn. Yeah. And he's making $5 million a year. As much as I bitch about the Chris Thorburn deal, David Clarkson's deal makes Chris Thorburn's look like the best contract in the league.
Oh, absolutely. If you were to compare the value.
The Leafs are so utterly broken. It's just terrible. It's 2-1 Jets right now at the end of the second.
Whoa.
Buff has played 2-1 San Jose.
I was going to say, what?
He's already played 17 minutes?
17 minutes.
Yeah, he's on his path
to
his 30-minute game.
Oh, boy.
5-4.
5-4 for Russia.
Get Fucale out of the net. He is not a good goaltender. He's had a good run against some pretty crappy teams. He is not a good goalie.
This is,
He isn't. He just isn't. I've said this since before this tournament has started. Eric Comrie is the better of the two goaltenders. You
said this last year, too. Actually.
Yeah, I said this last year, too. Comrie is the better goaltender. Period.
Yeesh.
Like, control that. What are you doing?
That was ugly. Ugly goal. Everybody's listening to this being like, we already know what happened, Travis.
They're going to blow this. And Fucale Fucale's going to get, like, praised still.
Probably, yeah.
Even though he's a sub-900 goaltender in the QMJHL.
That's really bad.
Travis is full of beaks today.
Travis is like on a full rampage.
It's the way it is. Maybe that's half the reason I just can't get behind this team is because they make this is an Andre Pavlik goaltending decision.
Yeah,
There it is. It is. He should not be in net. It's plain. Eric Comrie is one of the best CHL goaltenders there is, and he's sitting on the bench in your gold medal game. That's just a bad life choice. If they lose this game, they almost deserve it because of that decision. This is a good team. Their top three lines are good. They're very skilled. They're what a lot of people have been asking for. Their fourth line is... Josh Hosang should still be on this team. He should have at least been invited to camp. But Zach Fucale should not be in net right now. My mom just texted me. What the fuck? A couple ugly goals there.
Classic Tammy text.
Tammy. Except she didn't actually say what the fuck. She said WTF. Because Tammy is very classy that way.
Of
she doesn't
course.
actually swear.
No, she doesn't. I write them out. She lets you think about them yourself.
Yeah. She lets you feel bad for swearing. Yeah. But she wouldn't say it. But yeah. One other thing I want to bring up with Leaf fans. Stop throwing your jerseys.
Oh, God. Was there two? There's two or three.
Two.
Two or three. Oh, two.
There's two.
Two at at MTS Center on Saturday, thrown on the ice. I saw a nice picture of the guy in motion.
Yeah, that's
like he was picture. Like full like this.
There's just a little old lady in the bottom.
Yeah,
just standing there.
Yeah, and he was just like full on like 45-degree angle. Like I'm gonna toss this bad boy.
It just ignorant Leaf fans piss me off so much, and it drives me nuts because I feel like they don't even. I know this is going to sound really almost hypocritical me saying this. They don't watch the games. They don't look at the advanced stats. They don't watch the games. They just listen to fucking Jeff O'Neill say shit on TV and on the radio.
I wish I could remember what it was, but I agreed. Sorry, well, because I was really surprised. I agreed with Glenn Healy twice in a row during that national broadcast.
Jesus,
like in succession. Why?
Did your head explode for a second? Or
I stopped and I questioned it. I was like, "What just happened?" And then I went,
"Sound insane,
right?" Yeah. That's what I thought about myself. And then I went back and was like, "No, those things actually did make sense." I really wish. Now I'm angry. I can't remember what it was.
It's such a rare event. It's like forgetting a solar eclipse.
Yeah, basically, exactly. It's like a meteor shower or something.
Yeah.
Like,
remember that meteor shower that happened? No, I don't.
No, I don't remember it. It's only once in 100 years.
Remember that time you won the lottery? No,
not
at all.
No. Just slipped my mind.
But yeah,
it's something totally reasonable.
Get your head out of your asses, Leaf fans. It's so annoying. So yes, the Leafs suck. The Jets are better than them.
How did we get there?
Just period. That's the way it is.
So is everybody else.
They're not a good team. They get very lucky. They shouldn't trade Morgan Riley. They shouldn't trade Nazem Kadri. They shouldn't trade Phil Kessel. They shouldn't trade JVR. They shouldn't trade Jonathan Bernier. Everybody else should at least be considered. And that sucks because I love Jake Gardiner, but man, has he been dumb a lot this year. So I would like to think Jake Gardiner wouldn't be traded, but God knows. And the funny thing is, who's the number one guy that gets in every trade rumor? Nazem Kadri. The Leafs' best center, bar none. Who was, again, not at the Leaf game on Saturday. So just saying, I was kind of heartbroken.
He wasn't there?
He was not there. Luka was out, Kadri was out, Holland was out.
That
So
sucks.
probably two of the Leafs' best centers were both hurt in that
that's
game.
true.
Adding on to the problem.
Yes.
So, but two of the best possession centers, at least, weren't there. And you saw what happened as a result.
Yeah.
Tyler Bozak is the most overrated center in the league.
Yeah. No, I agree. I'll agree with you on that one. That's...
You hear this, everybody?
People praise...
I'm a logical Leaf fan.
People praise Tyler Bozak.
And they shouldn't.
Yeah.
He would be a decent second-line center on some teams.
Mm-hmm. I'm not saying he's bad.
But even on the Jets...
Yeah. No, I'm not saying he's bad,
maybe...
but he's definitely not...
on the Jets, he'd be a fourth-line center.
Yeah. He's definitely not a first-line center on any team.
He's not.
No.
Phil Kessel has made him so much money, it's unbelievable.
Yeah. He should, give half of his money to Phil Kessel.
Yeah. And, a quarter of it to JVR.
Yeah.
Then the other quarter, you can be like, wow, I'm a really lucky son of a bitch.
I'm just going to enjoy this $750,000.
He would seriously be a fourth-line center on the Jets. I wouldn't put him ahead of Scheifele. Hell no, I'm not putting him ahead of Brian Little. I'm not putting him ahead of Perreault.
Yep, so
He's
there you
better
go.
than Slater. He's their fourth line.
That's true, actually. That's a good point. To put it in perspective...
That's where he should... And he's playing on the top line of the Toronto Maple Leafs.
Yikes.
And Nazem Kadri somehow just can't take that job, which is ridiculous. So... That's my problem with the Leafs, everybody.
From the Leaf Stream podcast.
No doubt.
They're just bad. They're terrible. You know who else is bad?
Who?
The Edmonton Oilers.
Yes.
Remember that time I picked them to make the playoffs?
Yes. And I still remind you about it every time they play.
Every day.
Every day.
Oh, speaking of things that I need to remind people of, and I need to get back at you for something here.
Oh,
Hold on.
okay.
Let me pull this up.
It's a very casual podcast.
Very casual. Like we said, it's
It's a Monday night.
It's just
Monday
a
night.
hangout.
We're just chilling.
We're
watching
just
the
watching the
game.
game.
Checking the
Having fun.
phones.
pull the phone out, check it. What's going on? Send a text message.
The JetStream Fantasy Hockey League.
Yeah, I'm getting destroyed.
I played you last week,
Did you?
and I beat your ass.
Oh,
7-3.
I don't even remember that.
So,
Dun, dun.
Was that last week?
yeah, it was last week.
Dang.
Killed you.
Shucks.
Nazem Kadri was out too.
Well then.
So suck on that.
You know what? My Jetstream Fantasy League is gone crazy downhill, but my work fantasy league, which is the one where I can win $800.
You mean the one that we can't look at to verify if this is true or not?
I can show it to you right now.
No, it's okay.
But it's going up and up every week, so I'm happy with that because that's the one I can actually win money in. And as we all know, I have no pride anyway, so it doesn't matter if it doesn't matter if I lose in Jetstream.
Somehow you're still ahead of me in the standings. Oh, it's because you've tied more things than me.
Yeah, well,
Stupid ties.
that's what I'm saying, right?
I feel like we can't mention the Jetstream Fantasy Hockey League. That's the word.
Jeez.
Thank you, Neil. Wow, Mondays. AKA you're fucked. Yeah, a little bit. Without mentioning that Promistrov's nuts is still first overall.
Still first overall.
Still first overall.
Damn.
He is way up too. He's
Pity just killing it.
He's 14 wins above everybody.
Oh my
else.
god.
He's Evander Kane first overall, folks.
Yep, that's how you do it.
That's how you do it. Oh, he's got a... Oh, damn.
What?
What's this guy's lineup right now?
Let's just take a look. The number 1 overall team. Let's take.
How is Brian Little a right winger?
Whoa, relax.
He's cheating. It's not fair.
You changed the positions. What's his lineup? Can you actually read it out? I'm curious.
Ryan O'Reilly, Brock Nelson, Max Pacioretty, Johnny Gaudreau, Wayne Simmons, Brian Little, Dustin Bufflin, Cody Franzen, Dougie Hamilton, Jake Gardner. And on his bench is Evander Kane, Nathan McKinnon, Nail Yakupov, and Jacob Trouba.
Who are his goalies?
Carey Price and Jonathan Bernier.
There you go. I was going to say, that's not an outstanding team.
Every week gets every goaltending statistic.
Yeah, that's and that's how we have a lot of goaltending categories in that
do.
league. So if you have good goalies, you're set.
Yeah. Actually, that's how I've won a lot of mine is because Scrivens has kind of pulled his head out of his ass and Schneider's not as brutal. So
Yeah.
You know who's brutal? Zach Fucali. Just have to say that.
Yeah.
Yo, shout out to Pity for calling me a boss on Twitter the other day.
Yeah, he did.
He did.
Shout out.
He also gave you many compliments on your physical appearance.
Yeah.
Did you just flip did you do the little camera thing right there?
You have your camera on?
Son of a bitch.
What a guy. I had no
for
idea.
you, Pitty.
We had no idea that you did that.
Yeah,
So,
I had no clue.
I saw all these tweets and I'm like, what's going on? Like, I guess I have to watch it to see what's happening. And I turn on, I'm like, oh shit.
I was sitting there, I was like, there must have been some time Neil like popped his head out. Or
Yeah,
something.
that's what I was trying to think. I'm like, did he ever walk in front of the camera or?
No, I just got fancy with
Yeah,
everything.
no kidding. You went all out.
You know what? I like it.
Yeah, it's good.
I like it very much. Anyways, the Edmonton Oilers, they made a trade this week. Or, well, last week. David Perron was traded to the Pittsburgh Penguins for a first-round pick. And I wouldn't be surprised if David Perron grabbed his bags and literally sprinted all the way to Pittsburgh because, thank God, he is out of Edmonton.
I'm getting out of here. Just runs away.
It's aggressive, Joe.
Yeah, sorry to all the audio listeners. Just hit your mic.
So David Perron...
Sorry,
the table.
tilt it back up or else
Sorry,
Travis
is
is
it-
going to sound like a
sorry.
giant and you'll sound like a mouse.
I muted myself. Did I fix it? There we go.
There,
Welcome back.
ruined
Joe.
everything.
Technical
Joe.
difficulties.
God,
Sorry.
Monday nights.
Yeah.
Fuck yeah, bud.
Okay, so David Perron, first-round pick. David Perron's a pretty good player. He's 26 years old. He's had 3 20-goal seasons. He's coming off a 50-point year.
Wow.
A first-round pick? I'm not going to comment much on the trade itself. You can make your own opinions as whether you think that's too much or what it was or something else should have been involved. The only thing I will say is Edmonton's got to stop trading away NHL players for picks. you need to ice a team at some point. Just saying.
David Perron is a decent place to start, actually. And
I would have had no problem with them
Yeah.
keeping him. He's one of the guys that, like, I can understand you moving him.
yeah.
But you probably could have got a couple, I don't know, maybe a defenseman or something that you might need.
Mm-hmm.
Because you need, like, 6.
But for Pittsburgh, that's a good idea. That's a
Oh,
good
yeah.
thing
I
to
mean,
have.
honestly, the first round pick's going to be, what, like, 20th, 30th overall. Like,
Yeah.
it's not going to be a great, like, it's not super high. I mean, it's a first round pick, but it's not super high.
But I mean, you got David Perron.
Yeah, exactly.
And what have we always said Pittsburgh needs? It's bottom 6 guys.
Yeah, that's true. The thing is, I'm honestly a little surprised he always managed to get a first round pick. Wow, hiccup. And he's a good player. I just don't think he's that good. Like, he's not first round pick good. Otherwise, like, I don't think you can get a first round pick for Vander Kane. If you did, that's probably all you're getting. You might need to make a bit of more of a mix. And I don't think David Perron's necessarily a better player than a Vander Kane in some instances.
Depends, yeah.
So that kind of starts making me wonder what the Jets might be able to get for one or more of their defensemen. Especially, like, because once guys start getting healthy, we've talked about this, they need to make a move. And, okay, let's say everyone's healthy.
Okay.
Thursday night, everyone's back. Something has to happen.
Yes. So who are the guys you can send down without consequence?
Okay, on the blue line, again, assuming Bufflin stays back there, I think
Yeah.
Maurice has kind of made it obvious he's keeping him back there.
Yeah.
You're looking at something like Toby and Bogo,
Mm-hmm.
so Enstrom and Bogosian, Sherratt and Buff, maybe. Stewart and Trouba. Let's say that's the 6 you go with, just because you don't want to mess up Buff and Sherratt, because they've been playing well.
Yeah, yeah.
And I think Sherratt's deserved a shot to stay with Buff
yeah.
because they've played well together.
Absolutely.
Yeah, Stewart and Trouba, again, that means Trouba's your 6th guy, or your bottom pair. You don't really want Trouba down there. Then on your reserves, you then have Klitzum, who you've committed a contract to.
Mm-hmm.
Brulette, who you can send down. Send him down. He's one, gone. Party, you can send down. Ellerby, send him down. Postma's played well.
Yes.
He hasn't missed a game this year. I don't think he's been in the lineup all year. And Harrison, who you've committed a trade and money to. But you've basically sent down Party, Ellerby, and Brulette. But then you
Yeah.
still have Klitzum, Postma, and Harrison.
Yeah. So
You keep one.
yeah, so I remember when the Harrison trade was made, I said, this is probably just a Band-Aid. So hopefully they would be able to do some wheeling and dealing and say, we just got this guy, let's get him out, ship him out as fast as we got him in.
Exactly. He's
That's
done well.
that's something that's reasonable, I think, that he's a movable player.
But you still have another decision to make.
So you still have one more to go.
Are you trading Postma, Klitzum, Sherratt? Or are you taking a risk on them on waivers?
I wouldn't be surprised. I would not be surprised if they risked one of those on waivers. The way that the Jets have been in the past with waivers.
so dumb.
I know, but we said that before, and they've done it multiple times.
I'd like to think something's changed this year.
Yeah, you never know. Well, this wasn't long ago when they were putting people on waivers.
Yeah, start of the year.
Yeah.
I think at that point you have to start looking at your options. And if Chevy's serious about their whole, if we're starting to win, I'm going to make a move thing.
Yeah.
If you're serious about that, you need to go for a trade. And you need to take a position of then strength. Because I do think Sherrod has value, Klitzem has value, Postma has value. Mm-hmm. They're varying levels all over the place. So right now, what would you say needs the most improvement on this team?
Right now, I'd want to see probably a little bit of a difference in that fourth line.
Yeah.
I want to see, because I'm not in love with Peluso, but I don't hate him. And obviously, we know what we all think about Thorburn. And
I think you can improve on Slater pretty easily.
I think you can, exactly. He's, he does what he's put there to do, but it's not like he does a great job of it, but he doesn't do horrible, whatever. You can improve on that.
So let's go with that. Let's say the fourth line.
So let's try and get some scoring from the fourth line and get some minutes from them.
You can probably greatly improve, or at least get, I hate the phrase, a PK specialist. Not that you need it, but you could probably get a decent fourth line, or at least a decent fourth line player with one of Harrison. You might be able to improve and clear some space if you move Klitzem, because you have Klitzem and Stewart on identical contracts right now. So if you can get that contract off the books, fine.
A few mil a piece, so
you could probably get a fourth or third line player for Postma too. I think you can move any of them, and with the right decisions, I mean, it's scary considering what you might do, because he hasn't made a player-for-player trade yet, or an NHL player for an NHL player trade yet. It could be a bad move, but I would be going for clearing some space, so when one of these kids, when Morrissey's ready next year, hopefully, you have a place for him to play. So I'd be looking at moving one of those guys. Yes, it's scary because you did lose 5 defensemen at once this year.
So you just got to hope that doesn't happen again.
But you can't... Either way, they're going somewhere.
Yeah.
And I don't think you want to risk losing them for nothing.
And I'm actually kind of excited because it's a situation, the Jets are in a situation now
where something
has to happen, and that doesn't happen very often with this team.
And it's either going to spark an awesome rant from me in the future,
yes,
or praise.
Yeah,
it'll be one of the two. Either the world will blow up, or the world will actually be happy and shocked.
Yeah.
So that's obviously one option, but maybe they go bigger than that.
Maybe.
What if you tried moving Bogosian?
Oh yeah. Try and move one of those guys who you think has top pairing value.
Yeah, you look at your lineup right now with that Enstrom, Bogosian, Sherratt, Buff, Stewart, Trouba. Your right side right now, you've got Zach Bogosian, Dustin Byfuglien, Jacob Trouba. I don't really want Jacob Trouba being your number 6 guy or your third pairing guy.
Could hurt his development.
I have no problem with Klitzem, Postma. Postma's been a good right-hand guy. I believe he's the right-hand side. Throw one of them in there. And then think about, okay, well, what else can we really upgrade? Zach Bogosian. You can slot... I have no problem at this point in the year with how well Trouba's played in some tough minutes. Throw Trouba up there with Enstrom. Maybe reunite Byfuglien and Enstrom together. Trouba and Sherratt, maybe. It's a little risky, but I'd prefer a Trouba-Toby kind of pairing. That would look good. Then find someone to play with Stewart on the third pairing, and holy crap, it's starting to look good again. They're starting to have a legit lineup. It's amazing how just adding Byfuglien back to the defensive core went from everything. This looks disgusting to wow, they have a lot of good guys right now.
There have been unanswered questions in the past on Bogosian anyways. Like, we haven't quite figured out, there was the whole thing where he was with Hainsey, and everybody was like, oh man, Hainsey's terrible. And then we're like, wait a minute.
Hainsey's playing better now that he's not with Bogosian.
Maybe it was Bogosian who was bringing him down, and we kind of have these...
And Enstrom's numbers have gone down a little bit too, while Bogosian's have risen playing with Enstrom.
Exactly. So it's one of those things where, you want to see the potential there. He's a high draft pick, and one of those things where he's been around in the franchise for a while.
Yeah.
But, there's a couple of question marks.
I think in the general consensus, a lot of other teams would look at Bogosian and say he's a guy with value.
Yeah.
And I personally think within the Jets lineup, he's not the best right-handed defenseman.
You can sacrifice.
You can move him.
Yeah.
And it's not going... we've seen it. He got hurt, and the world didn't fall apart.
Yeah, exactly.
He got hurt with a lot of other guys getting hurt, and the world didn't fall apart. So... Again, is it sustainable at this point? I would think Byfuglien is sustainable. Can he keep going with Sherratt the way he is? I don't know.
Can Sherratt play with somebody else?
To think it could keep going with those two together. But I think moving Bogosian really opens up the possibilities to pull in a second line guy. And then all of a sudden you have you already had a good top 9.
Yeah.
But you have a good top 9 that doesn't have a TJ Gagliardi, Chris Thorburn, or Anthony Peluso filling on your third line when Evander Kane gets hurt.
There's that one spot where you're just not sure.
You then have your centers, Little, Perreault, and Scheifele. That's great. You have Ladd and Wheeler. You have Lowry, who's been great. Lowry can slide into a center if you need him to. Halishchuk, I've been fine with to this point. Kane, Frolik, you're starting to put... I know I'm forgetting somebody. It's driving me crazy. I can't remember exactly who I didn't name there.
I don't know who you didn't name.
Whatever.
Okay.
Anyways, you've started to put together a solid top 9, and now you're forced to bump good players onto your fourth line.
Which
what a concept
is amazing when that happens.
Your fourth line has now become a line you can rely on.
And they play more than 4 minutes a night.
A line that if you do make a playoff push, you don't have to play your top line for 25 minutes a game.
Yeah.
A line that when you're going into a lineup that when you're going into two back-to-backs in a week, you don't have to be so stressed out about fatigue and being forced to play your crappy fourth line because you can actually rely on them a little bit. Mm-hmm. The only issue with that, then, is Thorburns still probably going to be in your lineup because of money, unless you take a little bit less in a trade and put Bogosian and Thorburn together.
You'd have to be thinking, that would be a very, cap-conscious move, right?
Yeah. It'd be a long-term move.
Yeah, very long-term success
Nick
move.
Batan's been lighting it up in the World Junior Tournament.
Yeah.
And Ehlers has looked great.
Yeah.
DeLeo's eventually coming up. Burmistrov could be coming back next year. You have other options. Yeah, exactly. You just got a nice little smile on your face as I started saying all those names.
I did, yeah.
You got a little smirk. And everybody should. That's sad. I know I'm very conscious, and you're very conscious as well, when it comes to prospects and having these expectations that these guys are going to take these steps. It's never... It's nice to have the idea that your prospects are going to take steps forward, but so does everybody
warm
else.
And fuzzy inside.
Exactly.
Make you think that you're the only team with prospects.
Exactly. And yes, I do understand the Jets have more prospects than any other team in the NHL this tournament. I get that. But not every prospect in this tournament turns out to be something great.
And try and figure out how many years Detroit has been that team that had the most prospects.
Well, even if they haven't, they pull out guys. How many years is a team just grab a guy out of nowhere in their depths?
Yeah, exactly.
It's always a great idea.
Yeah, it's always a nice story when somebody's brought up through the ranks and they're developed, and you're like, oh wow, everybody's so smart and we're so good at hockey.
But you can't rely on it.
But yeah, and you can just as easily, like you said, just get somebody who can play in the NHL.
Yeah,
it's crazy.
But all that being said, you also have to be aware, and this is the mind of how a GM has to work, and how I think Chevy has failed in the past. You have to be aware that these guys are coming.
Yeah,
and if your expectations for them are there, you cannot sign a Chris Thorburn and lock yourself into a spot like that.
You need to have some flexibility to move them into the lineup.
And right now, when you can start pairing defensemen, which every team wants for situations just like the one the Jets are in right now, every team wants plethora upon plethora of defensemen. And now that you're in a position that you could probably move one of them and be okay, why not try to pair that? Get a guy that you lost and you've lost in the past, and you've probably committed too much money to for what he has been in Zach Bogosian, with somebody that you really should be regretting a decision. The guy we picked to be the biggest regret the Jets made last year.
Yeah.
Pair them together, solve two problems at once. Mm-hmm. Open up a spot for a guy like Postma who's played well this year. Put him into a position where he can succeed on the bottom pairing. Get rid of the Thorburn contract. Slater and both Slater and Peluso come off the books at the end of the year. So does Halishchuk. All of a sudden, you have a pretty solid top 9 built, and you have money and space to build that fourth line. And then you have a legit hockey team. If Hutchinson can keep doing what he's doing, you have a legit hockey team.
And it looks like Hutchinson can, so far.
His look at a team that we've already talked about, and you brought up, and Garret wrote about, which we'll talk about in a second, is already legit.
Yeah.
They just have these weaknesses that you can identify and say, if you fix this, you move from a wild card team to top 3 into your division.
Yeah.
And as these guys get older, you move from, hopefully, again, as long as Scheifele keeps developing, Lowry keeps developing, and all these guys keep taking steps forward. Perreault turns out to be what he is. Frolik signs and stays here. It's a lot of ifs.
Yes.
If this can keep all happening, you go from a wild card team, top 3 in your division team, to Stanley Cup contending team. A huge frickin' change from the offseason. And if they can take these steps and Chevy makes the right decisions, I will eat my words. I won't eat my socks, but I will eat my words.
It's a lot easier to eat your words than eat your socks.
Exactly. But as much as of a doubt I was in this team before, I'd like to point out that the moves that I said and we said would make this team a better team have happened, and they're a better team. Hutch is getting more playing time.
Interesting.
It is interesting how people like to dismiss that the things that are making them better are the things the Arctic Ice folk, and us included, have said would make them better.
Yeah.
That we all doubted would happen. Fine. Because we didn't want to be that optimistic. Because history had shown us not to be.
Yeah, exactly.
That getting a goaltender who can actually play goal, moving Buff back to defense, and Trouba developing, would all make this better.
And moving Buff back to defense and getting a goalie who can actually play goal are those two big ones that have happened quickly. And kind of, well, Buff playing defense is, we knew
was forced.
That wasn't out of nowhere, but yeah, it was forced. Hopefully, it's going to stay that way.
And I don't want to take too much away from Paul Maurice, because I think what he's done as a coach and a lot of the decisions he's made and the buy-in of this team to what looks like a buy-in to defense has helped as well. But when you have a goaltender who's playing like 20 points better, or 20 hundredths or whatever it is of save percentage better, that's a lot of goals that are prevented.
Oh, yeah.
When you have the guy who has historically been your best defenseman not playing on your third line, your team becomes a lot better. The Jets this season alone have gone from a $5 before the game on StubHub to buy a ticket to a it's hard to find tickets team very quickly.
Oh, yeah. Except for today, because the World Junior Games.
Yeah, I think I heard like 4 or 5 different offers to just give away tickets, but it's a different circumstance.
Yeah.
But it's nice, and it's a lot... In a way, it's a lot harder to create this podcast when things are going well.
It is a lot harder. Can you imagine what it would be like if you were trying to do a
really
podcast for some good team?
Leaf Stream!
Yeah.
Leaf Stream!
That would imply that the Leafs are good.
Yeah, I know.
No, but if
That'd
they're
be
bad, we
so-
can make a
Oh,
podcast
that's
because
true.
you'll talk
It's
about
true.
it.
Easiest podcast ever. So much content.
Well, the thing is, it'd be just the same thing over and over again, because that's what it is with the Leafs.
That's true, yeah. Fair enough.
But the first time in a while, and again, this might be misplaced, they are losing right now, after all.
But, I mean, what did you want?
Yeah. A team where you can lose your top dive defenseman, and it's not...
And
oh
one
my
of your top
God,
defensive forwards.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the world isn't caving in on you.
Yeah, exactly.
It's been nice.
It's a good world
That's all
to
I'm
be
going to
in.
say. I'm not getting too optimistic. I still think it's going to be a push to make the playoffs this year because of these injury situations. They look good. It's weird, but I like it. Harrison.
No way.
2-2. Trade him while he's hot.
Yeah, exactly. The value is rising.
Fuck yeah, bud.
Okay. One more thing we want to mention before we go on to our wonderful regular segments. Neil, you want to bring that article up for me, please?
Yeah, I'd be happy to.
Talking about the Jets being a legitimately good team. Our buddy, who we seem to mention every podcast, Garret Hole. Gareth OHL.
Gareth OHL. Yes, I love that.
Call him Gareth OHL, everybody.
Yeah,
it makes him so angry.
He really
He
enjoys
loves it, actually. It's
Yeah,
his
it's
favorite thing.
Why doesn't he like it?
Because that's what his...
If you look at his
Yeah.
Twitter handle, it looks like his name is Gareth OHL
Oh,
instead of Garret
yeah,
Hole.
that makes sense.
So people
Yeah, so
think
people think he just writes about the
You know
OHL.
what? That's funny you say that because that's what I thought the first time I saw it. Too.
yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
There you go, Garret. You are now Gareth. So
And
there's
you write about the OHL.
Yeah. He wrote this on January 3rd. So that was what, Saturday?
Yeah.
Before they ripped the Leafs in half. Nice picture of Matthew Perreault.
Big ups to Gareth. He made the front page of the hockey subreddit with this post.
Good.
Yeah. I was just looking for what I learned this week, and boom, I see Garrett's post.
Nice.
I'm like, holy shit.
That's awesome.
Bunch of comments on it. It's pretty active community, so awesome stuff.
The thing I like about this, and it's very true what he is kind of the whole point is that the Jets, they're dismissed very quickly, and a lot of their good players, Brian Little, Andrew Ladd, and Blake Wheeler, are disgustingly underrated amongst mainstream media. You can scroll past this, just kind of improving his point. Just go to the first...
Classic Garret.
Yeah.
Yeah, go to the first graph there. So what this article is kind of showing, and this is just a shout out to all you guys who say Arctic Ice is nothing but negativity, is showing that the Jets are legit. And a lot of people, I think, get drawn into that thought of, they're not that good. And even guys who use analytics still, for some reason, just they have this sense of doubt about the Jets. And it's well placed. And this was the Thrashers for a long time.
Oh, yeah.
This was the Jets who've yet to make the playoffs.
Thrashers were really bad.
They were really bad.
Yeah.
And they had some good players, and they were still really bad.
Yeah.
We're just going to roll through a few of these graphs that Garret had. For those of you on YouTube, I can point and explain. I'll do my best to explain it to those of you who are listening on I guess iTunes or wherever your SoundCloud, wherever you listen.
Yeah, we got people on the bus not knowing what you're talking about, graphs and stuff.
So the first graph that's up here is the on-ice scoring chance differential. So that's scoring chances for and against, like subtracted and added to one another to make your nice clean number.
It looks like a 4-year-old drawing.
Kind of, yes.
This
is all the teams.
Squiggly lines.
Yeah.
This is all the teams in the Central Division. Their scoring chance differential. So the higher you are,
Oh, is it
the more scoring
color-coded?
chance. Yes, it is. The more scoring.
Can I
chances
guess which
for,
ones are which?
That's
Guess who
a
that
great
top team is there? Who has the best scoring chance differential as of today in the Central
This
Division?
is the Winnipeg Jets.
It is the Winnipeg Jets.
What a guess.
Second is what?
Nashville. Or sorry, this one here.
Yes.
Chicago.
That is Chicago. Who's running it then?
Minnesota.
Nope.
Dang it. Who's green? Oh, Dallas.
Dallas.
Yes.
Followed by.
Nashville.
Yes.
Followed by Minnesota.
Yes.
Followed by St. Louis.
Yes.
And then the only one that's left that I can't remember.
Think hard. Who was really good last year that a lot of us said was going to be brutal?
Colorado
There you
Avalanche.
go,
Hey, nailed it.
Oh,
Neil, stop moving your phone. You're messing everything up.
Sorry, I'm excited. I wanted you to do this for me.
But yeah, the Jets do have the best on-ice scoring chance differential.
That's a good thing.
This is rolling 15 games at a time, I believe, combined,
Okay.
and they are right up at the top. And they've been up there for a while.
Yeah, they've
Since
been
the start
actually
of December.
like a lot above.
I'd like to point out, December 1st, that's when all the injuries happened and forced Dustin Byfuglien to become a defenseman. They moved from about 3rd or 4th to 1st within a couple days. So, keep on rolling, Neil, to the next graph
Interesting
we got here.
correlation.
So what you see here, and what I will explain here, is a chart showing the score-adjusted Corsi percentage for the Jets' forward lines, as well as the score-adjusted scoring chance percentage for percentage for the Winnipeg Jets. Usually, and if you scroll down again for a second, Neil, you'll see this is the general. He ranks it to the 90th, 100th, 80th, 270th players, just to kind of give you that differential of first, second, third lines, breaking it up that way. Mm-hmm. Note how usually when you're getting into your second, third line, you're starting to get close to 50%. When you get to your third line, it's usually below 50% for the most part. And then you got your points per 60 minutes played. You got 2.3, 1.8, 1.5. So it's going down. Scroll back up to the Jets. I'd like to point out that the first, second, and third lines are all above 50% in every one of those. Blake Wheeler, of which is an absolute beast.
Yeah.
Fourth line is the only one that's negative, and they're the one that barely ever plays, except for Anthony Peluso because his numbers are extremely small sample size. TJ Galliardi's also below it. Look at their points per 60. They are a little bit low for the most part, but again, we knew the Jets had scoring problems throughout the year, and I think, and Garret points out in that article, that might have a little bit to do with the focus that's been on defense this year. They've been sacrificing offense for defense and winning because of it. Look at these numbers. That would tell me that eventually things are going to turn around. Teams are going to click. Points per 60 being above 2 for all of your top liners is good. Perreault's almost at 2. Kane's almost at 2. Lowry's at 1, which is good for him for where he is right now. Shifley's getting up there. Like they're legit. These are good numbers, and they are pretty consistent with what they usually do. The only thing that is off is their points per 60 is a little bit lower than what they usually are. This is a good hockey team. A very good hockey team, except for the fourth line.
Except for the fourth.
Even then, there's still,
that's
compared
actually-
to usual fourth lines, it's not that bad.
You're
It
right.
just looks really bad because of how the top three
They're
are.
on the upper end of fourth liners, actually.
But keep in mind, extremely protected minutes.
Yes. Oh, no, yes.
Keep rolling, Neil.
Keep rolling.
Oh,
This is your defenseman now.
defense guys.
Jacob Trouba has been a hero and pulled Mark Stewart some of the highest, astronomically highest numbers of his career, which has made Mark Stewart, even though he makes terrible decisions all the time, a decent Corsi for percentage
All
guy.
the time.
He's still above 50% for scoring chances against, or for and against.
Sidebar, do you remember ever anybody, national broadcast, whatever, calling Enstrom a veteran defenseman? Do you ever remember that? Has that ever happened? In my mind, I can't remember.
No.
Okay, because Mark
It's Prince
Stewart,
Toby.
Mark Stewart has played approximately 20 to 30 more games in his career than Toby Enstrom, and yet is consistently called a veteran. And I've never heard Tobias Enstrom referred to as a veteran before.
That shows you the kind of
Yeah.
wording they use.
I just
for
wanted to
certain
throw
players.
that out there.
Think of that at what you will.
Yeah.
Dustin Byfuglien's numbers since he's become a defenseman are great. Zach Bogosian, again, he's okay. His numbers have been pulled up this year in comparison to Toby Enstrom, whose numbers have been pulled down because he's with Bogosian. When Byfuglien and Enstrom are together, again, it's fantastic. Party and Postma, Also, way above 50. Again, protected minutes, but way above 50%. Again, their points per production is a little bit low. Jay Harrison's the only one who, and even in both categories, he's not below 50. Harrison and Bogosian have the lowest numbers total. They're the only ones that are below 50 in any of these categories, which is fantastic. Klitzum has been very effective as well, and he's been given some of the tougher minutes since this injury stuff has gone on. Scroll down for a sec, Neil. You'll see the same chart.
I read this as Jay Harrison is extremely small. Because I was like, who's Jay Harrison?
It's extremely small sample. If you look here, again, you still have the same things. Usually by your second pairing, you start having guys below 50%. Third pairing is almost always below 50%. Again, the Jets' point per 60 numbers were a little bit lower than what you'd like to see, but commitment to defense, they're not worrying about scoring as much because they're not allowing goals.
Yeah.
And things have looked better because of it.
Yes, imagine.
Scroll down, I'm not sure if there's anything
have a good
else
goalie.
here.
I don't know if you're doing a good job or Garrett did, but I understand this.
This is Garrett's, like, what he does.
I get this.
He does this very, very easy to understand. A lot of what I'm saying is pretty much what he's written. And Garrett, if I'm screwing any of this up, yell at me on Twitter again. These are just comparison for the Jets in the past. You'll see that most of these points per 60 numbers are higher than what they've been. So Kane's lower, Perreault's lower. Perreault's actually a lot lower. Ladd, Little, and Wheeler are close to the same, but also a bit lower in some cases. And that's all just their points per 60. Everything else is either on par or... I mean, Halichuk's a bit higher, but that could have to do with who he's playing with instead of playing on the fourth line. The fourth line is higher than they usually are. Gagliardi's about where he's been, except for his points per 60s lower this year than it has been in the past. A lot of these things are similar to what they've been in the past, and that tells you that it might just be who they are. It's not a lucky year. This is who the Jets are. This is how they play as a team, and they are way too underrated for what they've been. And this is despite 5 defensemen, 4 for the most part, 5 as of tonight, dropping off the face of the earth.
Goes to show how much of a difference having a goalie who can make some saves makes.
Again, that's more the points thing. The score adjusted Corsi, that's systems and just being a good freaking player.
Yeah, as well.
But yeah, like you said, goaltending makes a difference in the win category.
Yeah.
This is what we've been trying to say for years. This is why I've been so hard on Pavlik. Nothing personal, but look at what happens when you start getting goaltending. Mm-hmm. You win. Everybody else starts realizing what your team has. And yes, I was hard as hell on the Jets in the offseason. I thought their defensive group was going to tear them apart. But I did also say their forwards would keep them out of the basement. I just very underrated how well this defensive group would come together under Paul Maurice. Keep rolling down, Neil.
Keep scrolling.
Same thing with the defensemen. As you can see, Stewart has been pulled up like crazy from Trouba.
Yeah.
Like crazy.
Like a lot.
Bufflin, Enstrom's been pulled down. Bogosian's been pulled up. Bufflin is a little bit below what he usually is, but again, this has been a small sample. Sherrod, I think all we've got on him is like one game from last year or something like that where he played okay. Postma and Party keep control for their time and controlled their easy minutes. Klitzum's played better than he usually has, which is a bit of a sign that he might drop off a little bit. But you want to talk about a time to trade a guy, it's when he's played his best.
Mm-hmm. Better than you think he might normally do.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So... keep rolling. I think that might be it, Neil.
Oh, the Thunder and the Clippers.
Sweet.
Those Warriors.
So there you go. That I just wanted to point that out. It's on Arctic Ice Hockey. So arcticIcehockey.com if you want to check it out. It's titled "The Winnipeg Jets Are a Legitimately Good Team," but I think it shows up.
This caught my attention.
Steve Eiserman forgets to take crazy pills. Transport.
This is from last year.
This is from last year.
Oh well, don't know why it's related.
Garrett might have wrote it.
No,
TJ wrote it. Trevor wrote it. Anyways, this is, I think, just good proof that the Jets are who we thought they were.
And we let them off the hook.
Well, they're better than what we thought they were in net, at least, and in defensive standings, but they can get better, which is the good thing. And they have to take advantage of what they have right now in this defensive group, and they will become a legit hockey team, and they are a legit hockey team. So be happy, Jets fans. Hope this can keep rolling as it is, and points for everybody. Okay. What do we usually do first? I always forget.
We normally start with Great Team of the Week.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's Joe's Great Team of the Week.
So, Travis kind of ruined it. But Great Team of the
Great minds think alike.
You're ruining it. You're ruining it.
Stop ruining it. Great Team of the Week is the Dallas Stars.
Damn it.
Yeah.
Stop being great.
You probably have even more numbers than I do.
No, I just had those 2 that I was gonna say.
Okay. Yeah, they've only lost 2 of their past 11. Like you said, they're 8-1-1. One of their losses was to the Jets. So decent.
Woo!
Yeah, that was early in December, but you know, they lost to. Sorry, I gotta update this. They lost to Chicago last night, so they've lost 3 of their last 12. So yeah, I just wanted to bring up a couple of tweets.
God, this music is so good.
It is. It's great.
It is great.
Yes, exactly. That was an accident. I just wanted to bring up a couple of tweets here. If this would load. But apparently it won't.
Okay, well, read off that number you didn't let me read off earlier.
Go for it.
Since December 1st, they sit 6th in the league in score-adjusted Corsi for percentage.
That's what I was going to bring up.
Which is very good. I did get that off a tweet. So.
Yes, the tweet I was going to bring up was Garret a few days ago. Or, sorry, our friend Gareth.
Gareth OHL.
Gareth of the OHL wrote out a tweet saying, hey, has anyone else noticed that, you know, the Dallas Stars have had really good Corsi numbers? And then another guy responded to him. And I favorited the tweet so that I could talk about it, but every time I click on my favorites, nothing happens.
See, Twitter's being a dick.
No, Twitter's down right now. Yeah.
I knew it. I told you something was wrong.
Relax.
I tried to tweet during the beginning of the Canada game and it wasn't working
Travis,
and nothing was going wrong. I told you something was not right with Twitter.
Because there was a big trade in the NBA.
Oh, was there?
Really?
What happened?
Plus,
it's probably not.
plus gold medal games
there's
and
a bunch of
everything.
things,
So there's a lot of things going on.
Anyways, some other guy responded saying, yeah, they've actually been ripping it up, and then used the same thing that I said, where they've won a bunch of their last games. Dallas is team of the week.
Man.
Tyler Seguin, Jamie Benn, the other guy, Jay Ben something, Jordy? I don't know if he's that good, but
Jason
he has...
Spezza.
Yeah.
In arena media team.
And yes, and them.
That's part of the reason why.
They do well.
Man. I'd like to point out that the Leafs are also one of those wins against Dallas.
Yeah, I don't care about that.
So it is unfair how good the Central Division is.
Yeah, it is.
It's just not fair.
No, they are so good.
Like, Minnesota could be in this. Dallas could be back in this. Colorado isn't that far out. The Jets, the Blues, the Blackhawks.
So good. Apparently the Blues, actually,
else.
on the flip side of this Dallas thing, apparently the Blues have been
Nashville.
like the opposite. Like, Dallas has had super good Corsi, and the Blues have been like...
that score-adjusted percentage.
Yeah,
the Blues
they're just... So, they need to fix that.
Get it together.
Well, it's not good for the Jets if they fix it, but for themselves, they need to fix it.
For Vladimir Tarasenko.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. We learned things this week. Who wants to teach us first?
I'll go, I guess. Mine is just pretty mighty mediocre, but that's fine.
It's mightily mediocre.
Yeah, I sent you a thing there, Neil. What I learned this week was actually kind of interesting. This is something that I never would have known unless some random stats guy from CBC was like, this looks like an interesting thing to put on the TV. And so most of the time when they put stuff up like that, you're like, wow, who cares? But this is really interesting.
Wow, that's actually really cool.
Yeah.
It shot to me when you sent that. I was like, well, get out.
I know, right? So what I learned this week, apparently the Jets are second most time with the lead in the league, next to the Pittsburgh Penguins, and like a decent amount above the next team, which is the Lightning. They've spent 936 minutes and 23 seconds in the lead this year. The only team better than that is the Penguins with 1,063 minutes.
That's nuts.
In the lead. I was, and then the Leafs are 10th. Which is
it
also,
shocks you the
which
Leafs
is
are
also,
that high.
which makes me kind of question the validity of this statistic. But you know,
well, no, the Leafs were pretty hot for like 10 games.
We'll take it. We'll take it for what it is. Halfway through the season, and you've got.
Jeez,
that's interesting. Very
that
interesting.
Is really
so
interesting.
if you didn't know that.
I did not know that.
Yeah, right. Well, most of the time when they show stuff like this, it's like
get out of
it's like, oh, this guy's got a really good record on Sundays against this team when he plays on a back-to-back, and you're like, that doesn't mean anything. It's like, what? After he eats a hot dog, he has a 935 save percentage. Like,
whoa!
Who cares? This is interesting.
You know what's an interesting fact? I've been to the MTS Center to watch a hockey game 4 times this year. I've left happy 0 of them.
Oh, God.
You should have been somewhat happy when the Leafs
Rough
were in.
life.
I was happy for Hutch.
And
because
Buff.
I was like, and Buff. But as a whole, I was like, man,
you were wearing
the
your
Jets
Leafs,
are so much better.
You were wearing your Leafs jersey.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I was like, Kessel, score. I saw Kessel drop a solid F-bomb, though, because they came down. I had good seats. They came down, and they passed it across, and Kessel, like, flubbed it, or the puck, like, bounced on him. And I was just looking at his face, and he was just like, well, fuck! And I was like, okay.
That's really aggressive. That's really aggressive, Phil.
You're already down by 4. I don't know why you're so pissed about that. There's only like 3 minutes left, but
just
okay.
Tone it down.
Yeah. So, Neil. What did you learn this week?
I learned that this exists.
What is that mask?
So, there's a guy named Marco Straight from the Swiss League.
That's amazing.
That has this mask that you need to see to believe.
That
So
is
if you're listening on iTunes or Stitcher or whatnot, please find the time to check out on
Or
YouTube.
Max Sports channels.
Or Max Sports channels.
Max
Or
Spats channels.
SoundCloud. A bunch of different ways. Regardless,
Or
if you're listening,
whatever.
yes, you gotta find this picture. Just search Marco Straight.
How has nobody thought of that before?
I don't know, but his mask has 2 eye holes and then a bunch of honeycombs.
I would find that
around or
so
something.
distracting.
But would
almost,
you?
But it would be so much more logical.
But would you though? Like that's amazing.
It looks amazing
That is,
and goofy all at the same time.
and like it's practical and funny, and it's just great. I love it.
It is. You love saying things are great.
It is. Well, it's just great.
It's great. to say
Neil's
so
great mask of the week.
Yeah, exactly.
Should make
That's
that a
actually
thing.
pretty that'd be
Unreal.
cool. Yeah,
How about-
it's just a different mask. But yeah, I learned this exists, and
Yeah.
it's hard to believe.
No, that
but
is-
there it is.
I can't stop looking at
That
it.
is
Right?
that is something else.
We'll tweet it out for
Yeah, tweet.
everybody.
Yeah, we gotta tweet this out. This is worth
so
seeing.
yeah, you don't have to go to YouTube. You can
Check
just
our
check
Twitter
our
feed.
Twitter feed. That's
Yeah.
much easier.
At JetStream Pod.
That's something we should start doing. Is just tweeting things we talk about.
Yeah.
When we learn things, we should just tweet them out and be like,
should,
you can
yeah.
learn them too.
We
Yeah.
learned this.
Instead
you
of
know.
forcing people to go on YouTube.
That's
I mean,
true.
we do get views that way.
We're not.
You know
collecting
what?
money
If
or
we aren't
anything.
good enough for people to go to YouTube, screw 'em.
That's
We're
true.
beautiful human beings.
We are pretty though. Ask pity.
Yeah. Well, Neil's pretty apparently.
No, you guys are good looking.
Okay. I learned this week that the Winter Classic is still a thing.
Yeah, who was paying attention to that? Not,
Absolutely
yeah,
no.
hey?
Yeah, exactly.
Wow.
not me.
That still happened, in case you were wondering. For our American listeners, it was probably at least advertised down there.
It was
but
Washington, Pittsburgh, right?
it was watched in Chicago.
Oh, whoops.
I have a friend at work, and we talk hockey like daily. He's a big hockey fan. He follows the NHL pretty closely. And like 2 weeks before the Winter Classic, I was like, "Hey, Mark, who's playing in the Winter Classic?" And he's like, "I have no idea."
Yeah.
And I was like, "Exactly. There's a problem with that.
There
This
is.
is supposed to be your marquee event."
And you know what? I think that a large part of it, it wasn't in Canada. Am I right?
No.
Okay. Yeah, a
Well,
large.
yes, you're correct.
Yes. I feel like that's a big part of it. But you're right. There's no reason why it shouldn't be advertised to the point where most NHL fans should know.
Well, at least in the past, like last year, I think was the first year they had a Canadian team in it. And obviously, when it's the Leafs and the Red Wings, that's going to get a lot of
That's
hype.
huge, yeah.
And it was the big house and
Yeah.
all this. It was huge. It was
Yeah.
blown up huge.
Yeah, it was.
But there was no HBO this year. It was Epix. I didn't even see an episode of this
No, I never
at
saw
all.
it. No, I didn't see
Like,
it.
I heard that people were watching it, and I looked for it, and I could not find it.
Yeah.
So that's a huge F up. I wanted to watch it because the Jets were going to be in it.
It's the whole
I wasn't able to.
It's the whole UFC thing, right? Like you watch for the hype. right?
Exactly.
If you watch the build up to the fight and then you want to watch the fight even if you're not interested in UFC.
Exactly. And at least in the past, it's been some sort of rivalry.
Yeah.
It was Crosby Ovechkin sort of stuff.
Yeah.
Or it was it was all about Sidney
Original
Crosby.
six.
Or, who cares about Chicago? Like, I mean, Chicago's a good team, and Washington's a decent team, and Alex Ovechkin, but
Yeah, that's a
you didn't sell them at all.
No.
But that matchup is nothing. like, who cares?
It's got to be
They're not
a
even conference rivals.
Yeah, exactly. It's got to be some sort of rivalry. At least have
you
like a
gotta.
divisional matchup or something.
Exactly. Like, make it at least a game that you can sell. Like, that would barely make Wednesday night rivalries, and they stretch that shit so far.
Yeah, they do.
Like, that would barely make anything. Like,
Wednesday night rivalries.
who cares about, like, if that was any other game, no one would have paid attention.
Yeah, no, it's true.
No one cares when Washington and Chicago play. Like, no offense to either of those teams. Chicago, like I said, both of them are legit sells, but
Nobody in Canada really cares.
no one really gave a crap.
Yeah.
And it was just...
I would be interested to see what their TV viewing numbers were.
Well, the
between
thing is, I'm
this
sure
year
they're
and
great
last
because they were
year.
national broadcasts in both Canada and the States, and it was still that time, and they sold out, and it was packed house, and it looked like it. Like, I watched a bit of it because I had nothing better to do because I was hanging out at the house. Like, all right, it was on TV, I'll put it on, but I honestly barely knew it existed.
Lowest rating in event history pulled in a 2.3, which, I mean, an episode of Big Bang gets 5 point something.
No
so
way.
That's a very low TV rating.
That's terrible.
That's what the Winter Classic got.
Yeah.
Wow.
Lowest ever, 2.3.
That's epically bad. So, well, you know what? That's a number that they'll know and they'll try and fix at least.
Oh, yeah, you got to try to sell it.
Yeah.
I was into it last year because of playing in the stadium.
Oh, exactly.
Because I thought that was really cool. I didn't care what the team... I understood it as a sports fan that it was the Red Wings and the Leafs, but just being in the stadium that big, like holding 6 digits is ridiculous.
Oh, yeah,
that's
insane.
really cool. That's
and
great.
that's just it. Like, I know you can't just keep having it original 6 this, blah, 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 this epic team. But the thing is, when you have those teams, it becomes an event. And I'm not just saying that because I love the Leafs. I'm like, it's a fact. When the Leafs are doing something, people watch.
Oh, it is. Yeah,
it's
true.
the reason they are the national broadcast almost every week. The big
Every
team
weekend.
every week.
It's every
because
weekend.
when the Leafs are playing, whether it's to make fun of them or because they're epically doing something ridiculous, the Leafs are a draw.
Yeah.
The Blackhawks are a draw usually alone. But in that kind of matchup,
Yeah, it was weird.
It
It's
was
awkward. It's just awkward.
it was. It
Yeah.
was just something just didn't seem right about
Yeah.
it. I didn't hear nearly enough about it, and on New Year's Day I remembered it was going on.
Yeah.
It wasn't anything.
I agree.
big.
I didn't watch
So,
a single second of it.
honestly, I'm more excited for the Sharks Kings. I think are playing in the Stadium Series
That'll be
match down
good
there. Like that's
game.
at least a good match.
That is a rivalry right
exactly.
there.
It's a division thing. The whole blowing 3-game lead and that whole thing. Like
Blowing a
it's
4-game
thing.
lead would be just impressive.
It would be. It'd be first time in history.
Yeah.
But like, you know what I'm saying? Like, you gotta. It's your big event. You gotta hype it up.
Yeah.
You gotta make it a thing.
Oh yeah. I'm surprised that they didn't. I guess maybe they got cocky. Who knows?
Well, the thing is, they went from last year. There was like 6 outdoor games to 2 this year, and they
Yeah.
just didn't talk about them.
Yeah. that's
At least
weird.
on Canada, I barely heard about it.
No, I didn't hear a thing. I have hardly heard a thing.
If people like us who, or at least I know you spend a lot of time in hockey. I live this thing every day.
Yeah.
I'm all about it. If I barely knew about it, you have a problem, a serious
Yeah,
problem.
I agree.
So, fix that. At least for next year, and get a team in Winnipeg. Or, I mean, a game in Winnipeg for the Heritage Classic next year against Edmonton, please. That'd be awesome. All right, let's spell some things.
It's the SPELLINGV. Gotta remember I before E, except after C. Da, 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 da. It's the spelling bee.
Slide whistle still gets me.
I'm just saying there's a minute 39 left in this game, so I'm going to half listen to you
Okay.
and half watch
That's
this game.
fine. If you're half listening to me, you're probably not going to get this one right.
All right.
And it's pretty pertinent, actually, right now, considering this game is on. I didn't plan it this way, but I think it might even be the guy with the puck right now. Anyways.
Let's pretend it is.
Yeah, why not, for the sake of it, because nobody really knows. The guy with the puck right now, Team Russia defenseman, Damir Sharipsyanov.
Oh, fuck off.
Say it
Say
5
that,
more times.
Yeah, 800 more times.
Damir is his first name. His last name is Sharipsyanov.
That's a sweet last name.
Sharipsyakov.
Sharipsyakov.
Sharipsyanov.
Oh, no. Okay, Damien?
Say it again.
Damir Sharipsyanov.
Again.
Damir Sharipsyanov. I'm done. It's the last one. 53 seconds left.
Man, what if Russia pulls some like Jordan Everly shit right
This
now?
is like, don't ice the puck, Canada. This is like the most.
He iced the puck! The Russian player iced the puck!
Okay, wait, there's a minute left.
OMG, it's going. Oh,
They iced the puck!
Oh my god, they iced the puck. 38 seconds left. Oh no.
Oh, music change. Oh, yeah, it's intense now.
Oh my goodness. This is like the most.
The Canadian player iced the puck!
Look at this guy's freaking out.
This is so Russia-Canada.
Oh my
2000 whatever,
goodness.
2009.
They had so many chances to score on the open net.
This is so intense.
This
This is not intense for anybody listening because you know how this ends.
Yeah, exactly. This is the most intense spelling bee
Okay.
we've ever had.
Damir Sharipsyanov.
I got this.
Neil, go first. Neil.
Dameier.
Oh, he did the same way.
Okay.
Shripsnikov. SHE.
SHERIP.
RIP. TZ.
TZ.
NUKOV.
This has been crazy, eh?
Wow, that's hardcore. I just gotta see the end of this.
Oh.
Score on the open net. Do it. 26 seconds left. This is nuts. Everybody's like, why?
See, this is the excitement I wait for in the World Juniors.
Yeah, that's why we're just putting the kibosh on the podcast for a second. Oh my god. Oh my god.
Okay, I spelled Damir the same way.
He iced the puck.
Oh, yes, the puck again!
8.6
seconds left.
Okay, go Damir.
Okay, Sharipsianov.
No, okay, Damir's
The same.
Yep.
Sharipis.
Okay.
Onov.
You're both horribly wrong.
Jeez.
Well, you don't know.
Yeah, you really don't. Now,
Alright,
let's
spell
just... Okay. Damir is Damir. Damir. And Sharipsianov is Sharipzyanov. Sharipsianov.
Wow, that's a heck of a last
Man, I
name.
hope that guy makes the NHL.
Plays for the
What if he
Owens...
gets the game tying goal?
Oh my god.
Sharipsianov scores!
Can you believe it? Oh man, shot on goal. Plays for the Owen Sound Attack of the OHL. He's eligible for this upcoming draft in Philadelphia.
With the Winnipeg Jets 20th overall pick, they select
Damir Sharipsianov.
from the Owen Sound whatever's
Attack.
Damir Sharipsianov, and then we'll just go ballistic.
Yeah, just go nuts. I feel like he's probably not going to be a first overall pick, but...
I said 20th, so
Oh, you did? Oh.
We've
Yes, I
never
did.
gone this deep into this song.
no, we have not. Come on,
3, 2, 1.
gold medal,
That's gold medal
Canada!
Fuck yeah, bud.
There you go. So the
They stopped sucking.
drought is over. That was like really
5 years.
well, and you know, it was kind of an awkward win because like they were like super ahead and everybody's like, yeah, we're gonna win, and then they almost came back and it's like, oh my god, we're not gonna win, and then they won.
Yeah, that's the kind of thing you wait for at the World Juniors, and it took all the way to gold medal for it to be real. It's about frickin' time. Oh, I thought that was Sharipsianov.
Maybe it is. Who knows?
I hope
I
he
don't
gets
even.
like a player.
To
of
be
the
honest,
game.
I don't even know if he actually is like playing. He's on the roster. I don't know. Maybe.
No,
he's,
he had the puck when he said it.
Yeah. No. Sorry. Yes.
Yeah,
no.
some
He had the
Rooney
puck. Yeah. He
idea.
took it. He took the final shot of the game. Almost tied it.
You know, every once in a while, like we try to keep in track of who these spelling bee guys are, so we don't repeat them. I feel like this is one that we just won't have.
We
a problem
no. We're not gonna have to
repeating.
worry about this.
Yeah, we're pretty
This one
safe.
or what's
Yeah.
his face from last week? Marcus Eisenschmied? Eisenschmied.
Yeah, that was a good one.
That's another one that I don't think we're ever.
Every now and then I go back into the depths of what I've put out for the spelling bee. I'm like, man, I'm good. Like these are some good names.
All right, I think it's about time for a little bit of Seinfeld music because we are almost done.
Time to call it. I'm ready for bed. 9:30. My goodness.
Josh Morrissey, Nick Patan, and Eric Comrie will be joining the Winnipeg Jets, or going to camp for the Winnipeg Jets next year with some shiny gold medals. And they're like, oh man, just make out on the ice, why don't you? You know who I feel really bad for? And I wanted to mention this. Leon Draisaitl.
Why?
He didn't get released by the Oilers to go to the World Junior, and then like halfway through the tournament, they're just like, we're gonna send you back to junior. Like, what a dick move. What a shit organization the Oilers are right now. It's like that's such a shitty thing to do to a prospect.
I saw a tweet yesterday from somebody saying that he was sent down to and then but that made him think that a trade was happening right away. Apparently.
Still, he got gypped out of the World Juniors.
No,
Like, Germany
I know.
makes the World
That's-
Junior.
yeah, I know.
And he probably wanted
And
to
they're-
play there, and they're just like, no.
they're-
And they're just like, we'll send you down
Is
anyways.
Germany going to be going back down to the
Yeah,
league?
they got relegated.
Yeah, they're going to be relegated. That's too bad.
That's so... it sucks.
It's got to be rough for him.
My mom just texted me, wow, now I can breathe. I really hope she wasn't holding her breath for the
Yeah.
last hour, because...
Tammy, you have excellent lung control.
Yeah, that'd be terrible thing for everybody. All right, so if you want to get a hold of us and tell us how weird this podcast probably was...
Classic weeknight
Classic
podcast.
weeknight podcast,
Classic.
just all over the
Oh,
place.
yeah.
With names like Damir Sharipsianov.
Zyanov. Sharipsianov.
Sharipsianov.
There we go.
Sorry, Joseph.
Yeah.
Get a hold of us on Twitter at JetStreamPod, #JetStream. If you want to check out the website, www.jetstreampodcast.com. You can email us at jetstreampodcast@gmail.com. Get a hold of me on Twitter whenever it decides to start working again at THRUBENIUK at TRubenik.
The
That
best
is.
part right here.
Just break down here.
The bass drum.
Yeah. Keep it going. Keep it going.
Get a hold of Joe on Twitter at JW_Clark20. Neil breaks that part down every
I
time.
love that part.
You get a hold of Neil on Twitter at Neil Noonan, NEILNOONAN. For those of you listening to us on Max Sports channels or SoundCloud or Stitcher, subscribe and rate us on iTunes. Just search up Jetstream Podcast and we will appear. Yeah. Check out ArcticGuysHockey.com. That's where you can see all of Garrett's amazing work. as well as find a weekly post and all the links for how you can get a hold of us and see our stuff and whatnot. Yeah, hope the Jets survive this week. They are currently still tied, I believe, the San Jose Sharks. It's got to be.
I haven't gotten any more updates, so
yeah, I haven't heard anything. I'm gonna do this really quick as I keep talking. And it is currently 8 seconds left in the third period. It is tied 2-2, so it looks like both the teams will get a point, which is good because that means we each move a little bit further away from the stupid Dallas Stars and the smelly Minnesota Wild.
The great Dallas Stars.
The great Dallas Stars. Uh-oh, Neil. Marcus Page is experiencing pain in his foot.
Oh.
UNC news for those who care about college basketball. Which is probably very few of you.
Yeah.
Anyways, have a great week, everybody. I don't know if I'm going to the MTS Center Sunday night to watch the Temu game. If I am, I'll probably tweet about it. It seems like it might be a cool experience. Give me a chance to wear the Temu jersey. We'll see. If you're going, let us know, though, again, and all those things I mentioned before.
Send us some pictures.
Yeah, maybe convince Joe and I to go.
Yeah,
we'll meet up with some people. Oh, fuck off.
What?
Mark Edward Vlasic scored with like 3 seconds left in the game.
Is it crunchy?
Is it juicy?
It's
So it looks like the Jets aren't getting a point tonight, so I spoke too soon, and
it's a Vlasic pickle.
Oh, wow.
AKA you're fucked.
Yeah.
Holy, you said that?
Yeah, I said that.
Oh,
I said that one.
Right?
You threw me for a trip there. I was like, what did I do?
All right, everybody, thank you for listening. Hopefully the Jets can turn this around. Hopefully Hutch gets a lot more starts, and go Jets, go. And go Canada.
Oh, wow, that was hilarious.
We finished the music. First time.
First time ever. That was